The mid-season 9 patch is upon us. We have the Cowboy Bebop collab and skins in the game, and of course, mid-season balance. Quickly before that, you can get the Calavera Reaper skin and other Reaper cosmetics by watching my Twitch stream for 9 hours from now until Sunday, March 17th. Tune in, keep the stream on, and let's begin with the global changes. Projectile size updates. The global projectile size modifier for travel time projectiles with the speed greater than 50 meters per second is going to be reduced from 0.1 to 0.075 meters. The devs comment that they're decreasing the size of the fastest travel time projectiles because it reduces the frequency of these projectiles failing to headshot due to hitting the enemy's chest hit volume first. In other words, if you play Kiriko, for example, and you try to go for headshots previously, sometimes the projectile sizes were so big that would hit their chest first instead of marking it as a headshot. The DPS passive is getting a nerf. The heal reduction applied by the damage roll passive is going to be lowered from 20% to 15%. The devs comment that the damage roll passive reduces the potency of in-combat healing and helps equalize the effects between burst and damage over time. Nevertheless, we are going to experiment with a lower value to relieve some of the pressure on tank and support rolls. We'll be keeping a close eye on this change as we want the healing reduction to still be noticeable. And hey, check this out above the first-person health bar, a new UI element to show healing status effects like the DPS passive. About time. Let's go to the hero changes, beginning with Doomfist. The Meteor Strike's minimum damage is going to be increased from 15 to 50. For Mauga, his overrun stomp damage is going to be increased from 45 to 60. Stomp can also crit if you land in the middle, so previously if you did 45 it would go to 90. Now it can also go from 60 to 120 damage if you land on their face. For his Cardiac Overdrive, the duration is going to be reduced from 5 to 4 seconds, that's a nerf, but the cooldown will be reduced from 12 to 10 seconds, and it now fills his passive overhealth by 100. The devs comment that we're changing Cardiac Overdrive to make it more forgiving when used for yourself, especially when Mauga is low health. For Orisa, a small buff to her ultimate Terra Surge, the charge rate for the first 2.5 seconds of it is going to be increased by 25%, so the damage ramps up a little bit quicker. For Ramattra, his Ravenous Vortex, another buff here, total damage is going to be increased from 45 to 70, and the cooldown is going to be decreased from 12 to 11 seconds. Ryan is getting buffs, believe it or not. His armor is going to be increased from 275 to 300, so 25 more armor health. His Fire Strike is going to get a damage increase from 100 to 120. That's nice. Roadhog, couple of buffs here. The chain hook enemy final position distance from Roadhog after being pulled in is going to be decreased from 4 meters to 3 meters. That means they're going to be closer, which means your shotgun shots are probably going to be a lot more effective. The Pigpen's vertical knockback on activation is going to actually be decreased by 43%. That's actually a buff, and the devs explain why here. We're improving the consistency of the hook combo. Enemies are going to be pulled closer to Roadhog and aren't launched as high when Pigpen activates, making the scrap gun follow-up shot more consistent. Okay, damage heroes, Hanzo's base projectile size is going to be increased from 0.075 to 0.1 meters. The total projectile size when combined with that general hero change is still going to be 0.175 meters. In other words, they're not changing him at all. He's going to feel the same as a previous patch, and the dev comments say, we're reverting the previous change to the base projectile size of Hanzo's arrows and replacing it with the general global reduction, which affects all travel time projectiles with a speed greater than 50 meters per second, resulting in Hanzo's arrow projectile staying the same total size as before this patch. Mei getting a couple of buffs. Endothermic Blaster's ammo is going to be increased from 120 to 140, and the Cryo Freeze healing per second is going to be increased from 50 to 62.5 HP. Reaper's Death Blossom, the damage per second is going to be buffed from 170 to 185, and the cost is going to be decreased by 12%. Spooky, especially if he comes in from the side. Sombra's EMP's ultimate cost is going to be reduced by 8%. The impact damage from Virus will be increased from 10 to 25. And remember, if the target is hacked, the impact damage is doubled, so it would previously go from 10 to 20, now it goes from 25 to 50. Additionally, the Translocator will now destroy breakable terrain while in flight, which is a great quality of life buff. The devs comment that Virus deals critical impact damage when it hits hacked targets, and this change makes using it as a follow-up more compelling. The Translocator now destroys breakable objects, preventing Sombra from teleporting a shorter distance than expected. Symmetra buffs, Photon Projector's primary fire damage per second is going to be increased from 60 to 65, which scales with each stage. The new maximum damage per second is 195 from the previous 180. Teleporter's health is going to be increased from 50 to 100, and the shield health is going to be increased from 150 to 200. The sentry turret's health is going to be increased from 30 to 50, and the damage per second is going to be increased from 25 to 30. Torb's deploy turret damage is going to be increased from 11 to 13, so the 6th player on the team is going to be hurting. Onto supports, Ana's biotic grenade explosion damage and healing will be increased from 60 to 90, both ways. There's no dev comments, so here's Karq's comment. These Ana changes, especially to the damage, is going to be important in the Tracer matchup. So previous patch, if you slept a Tracer and try to go for the shot nade melee combo, she'd be able to recall in time. But with this damage buff change on the nade, it should give you enough juice to reward you with the kill if you sleep a Tracer with the shot nade combo like so. Much better for this matchup. Baptiste Immortality Field minimum health threshold is going to be decreased from 25% to 20%, a small nerf here. Brig's Repair Pack cooldown is going to be decreased from 6 to 5 seconds, that's a buff, and the rally cost is going to be reduced by 8%, another buff. Illari is getting a big buff to her solar rifle. The primary fire recovery time is going to be reduced from 0.3 to 0.2 seconds, so you can shoot a little bit quicker, and the maximum charge time is going to be reduced from 0.7 to 0.65 seconds, so you can do full damage a little bit quicker. Double buffs. The devs comment that we're adjusting the firing cadence of solar rifle, making it more responsive to use and increasing the damage per second, but not the burst damage. Lifeweaver, the Heal Blossom maximum heal charge is going to be increased from 70 to 80, but the maximum charge time is going to be increased from 1 to 1.15 seconds. The devs comment that we're increasing the burst potential of the Heal Blossom to reinforce Lifeweaver's role as a high healing throughput support. The heal per second is roughly the same as before, but individual heal blossoms can be charged further. That's it for the balance patch changes. There's actually a new game mode this mid-season called the Hero Mastery Gauntlet, a new 3-person co-op game mode where players work together to protect towers from enemy bots, aka tower defense. You gotta collect energy, buy powerful upgrades, and survive all 10 rounds. Some final competitive play updates here. The placements and overview will now be displayed before the hero progression at the end of a competitive match. The rank range is now added to the scoreboard so players can view the range of the match at any time. The modifiers can now be viewed outside of the competitive overview with a rank info button found on the competitive play menu, so people are never confused about what's a reversal. A new modifier called Demotion Protection has been added to the competitive overview to notify players that if they lose another game, they will be demoted to the next lowest division. That's all for the patch. Watch my stream again at twitch.tv/Karq for the Reaper drops, and bye bye.